皆さん、英語のそーたです。
And I'm Reilly.
We have only 4 months left. I mean,
Of
yeah,
the
4
year?
months left. Yeah, of the year. So
Yeah.
it's so fast. How was this year?
How was this year?
So far, yeah.
Yeah, good. I would say pretty good. I don't know. I'm not really thinking about the year is finished yet, even though it's more than half over.
Yeah. Now I feel like, I need to do something because we have only 4 months left. But again, yeah, we'll have the big event as usual. So, yeah, I have to start thinking about it. And everyone, please look forward to that. And Reilly too.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it this week a little bit. And I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. はい、皆さん、もうなんか冷静に考えた90、11、12、今日8月17日の収録なんですけどね、4ヶ月半くらいで、そう、今年も終わるなと思って、そういきなりライリーに今年どうでしたかみたいな謎の質問をしたんですけれども、いやなんかいつもこの時期とかになったら、もう残り4ヶ月しかないなとか考えるんですけど、ね、皆さんはいい時間を過ごせましたでしょうかっていうちょっと年末みたいなねクエスチョンを聞いておきたいなと思いました。と同時に年末といえばね、毎年恒例の英会話のイベントでね、また全国か、地域はねまだ決まってないんですけど、こう回るイベントになる。ちょっと待って、なんかもううまいこと喋れてないですけど、喋れてますか今。Am I speaking well? 喋ってる
You're asking me about your Japanese?
I
don't know.
そう、うまく喋ってるかな。そう。とりあえずね、年末、また皆さんとお会いできたらなと思うので、そこも考え始めないといけないなと思ってます。それと同時に、皆さんすいません。1週、2週分ぐらいまだエピソードをアップできてなかったはずなんですよね。で、今この17日の状態でもまだアップできてなくて、というのも、ちょっと聞き返しをしたいなと思っていて、I wanted to listen back。その聞き返しの時間が確保できてなくて、撮ってるんですけどアップできてないっていう状況がずっと続いてたんですね。なので、今、やっとちょっと時間に余裕ができそうなので、3エピソード一気にね、短スパンでパンってアップされてたかもしれないんですけど、そう、毎週分更新することは毎年の目標なので、ちょっとごめんなさい、多めに見てください。毎週1エピソードじゃなかったにしても、3エピソードボンってアップになるかもですけど、多めに見ていただけたら嬉しいなと思います。お待たせしてすみません。で、今回はちょっと、シリアスになるかどうかわかんないんですけど、僕は気になってることで、ライリーと話していきたいなと思ってます。僕は英語のソータで SNS 調べてください。ライリーやライリーさんの番 XE で調べていただくと出てきます。Alright, are you ready, Reilly?
Yep.
ソータと
Reilly の
台本なし英会話レッスン
Episode 324.
Alright, what is the topic for episode 324, Reilly?
It's police officers in America versus Japan.
はい、今回のお題は、警察官、アメリカ vs 日本です。もう結構前からね、このエピソードは絶対作りたいなって思ってたんですけど、理由として、Yeah, I have some reasons why I chose this topic or I decided to give you this topic, not give you, but yeah, I decided to ask you some questions about this. On social media, I sometimes find some contents or videos where American police officers are not really equal or fair for everybody. And for example, yeah, it's a kind of big issue, I know, but
Yeah.
African American often tend to be stopped by the police officers. And then I heard they have some rules for them, for African Americans. They have to raise their hands first so that they can show they have no guns. And then, yeah, they shouldn't make any excuses or things like this. And when I was in college too, I learned about that. Um, the yeah, it's not sometimes equal for everybody. And yeah, recently I feel like I got more opportunities to see those contents on social media, and it's not only about perhaps African Americans or
Mm.
yeah, to any races that might not be fair. Yeah, so I wanted to focus on that kind of thing, and maybe I will have more questions about yeah, this kind of police thing. So first of all, yeah, you can just forget about what I said, and
Okay.
you can yeah, just focus on police officers in general. Do you think they're really equal and fair for everybody?
Uh, no. I
Oh
mean,
no.
no, I don't think so.
Mm.
I think that, yeah, as we say pretty often on this show, like it depends on the person. Police officers are individuals, so there are good ones and bad ones, I guess.
Mm.
Um, but I think on the whole, on average, they're not fair, and they do tend to I don't know, stereotype or judge some people based on race before they, even talk to them. Like if they pull someone over, um, maybe they just see the car at first, but then when they come up to the car to like talk to you, maybe the car was speeding or whatever. I think if they see that it's a black person in the car, then they're going to talk to you in a different way than they would if it was a white person in the car.
Mm. And not only to African Americans, yeah, I sometimes see those contents where, for example, the recent one was a police officer found a car and then he thought the car was stolen, but that was a mistake. But maybe they were teenagers, like young man and young girl, and without asking, he shot. I mean, the police officer shot, and then he died. So when I saw
The
that kind of
police officer died?
no, 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 the boy,
Okay.
18 or 17-year-old boy died, but actually he didn't steal the car. That
Hmm.
was, yeah, the police officer's mistake. But for me, is it really okay for the police officers in the US to shoot the gun without asking questions? Or how often does that how often does that kind of thing happen? I was wondering about this one too.
I mean, I think it happens too much. I don't know exactly how often. If you follow social media only, you would think it happens all the time.
Mm.
I don't. I hope that it doesn't happen all the time. I don't really know specifically, but yeah, there's a lot of times you'll see on the news about police officers who shot and or killed um people who maybe didn't do anything wrong or maybe did do something wrong, but nothing that was like super dangerous for the police officer. Like a police officer should only shoot his or her gun um, if there is a person shooting at them, basically,
Mm.
right? If
Mm.
there's a person who is threatening the life of I guess other people or the police officer.
Mm.
Um, and I think that way too often police officers reach for their guns, shoot their guns early. I mean, before there's any
Mm.
sign of danger.
Mm. 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 Yeah. So I don't know how I can ask you these questions or my wonders, but yeah, this was the thing I wanted to make sure and I wanted to talk about with you. And
Mm.
then, yeah, maybe my concern is they should be affected by their emotions or stereotypes too much, especially in the US, I felt. So maybe they judge just based on the skin colors or perhaps age, or I don't know. But if that happens, can they be punished? I mean, those police officers.
I mean,
Or
yes, they can be punished, but I think there have been many cases where the police officers will shoot and kill somebody who wasn't doing anything wrong or wasn't doing enough wrong to deserve being shot, right?
うん。
And then the punishment that they get will be like I forget now the term they use it, but basically they get paid leave.
うん。
So they get asked to, take a break from work, say, and but they pay them.
う
So they
ん。
say, okay, take 6 months or a year off work, and maybe they have to go to like therapy or they have to go to school or something. I don't know. But then they get paid
う
during that
ん。
time, which I think is crazy. I mean, it's like almost like a reward.
うん。
I would like it if my job told me to take a 6 month break and then paid me.
う
That's
ん。
vacation. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, I mean sometimes they'll get fired, they'll
うん。
get their badge taken away or something like that. But I think very rarely does the police officer go to jail as a result of killing somebody on the job, killing
うん。
somebody who didn't deserve it.
う
Which
ん。
I think I don't know. I understand that being a police officer is stressful and difficult, and I think um, that's one of the big differences between Japan and the US. I mean, like um,
うん。
in Japan, I haven't had too many run-ins with police officers, and luckily I haven't in the US either. But in Japan, they tend to be polite and like kind almost, and they
うん。
just kind of tell you what the situation is if there's a problem
うん。
or uh, whatever. And it's pretty easy, it seems,
う
and
ん。
they're pretty professional and easygoing.
うん。
But in Japan, the odds that anybody on the street in Japan is dangerous
うん。
is quite low. So
う
I
ん。
think the police officers don't really have to worry.
うん。
But in America, people have guns,
う
like
ん。
often. So if there is a chance that anybody they talk to is dangerous. So I think that there's that added level of stress for American police officers that causes um, them to shoot more quickly
う
because they think
ん。
that anybody they see basically could have a gun.
うん。うん。うん。Yeah, makes sense. But now, if you forget what I have been saying in this episode, even before this episode, how did you feel about the police officers in the US? You also felt they were not equal, or yeah, what kind of ideas did you have?
Oh, sorry, what do
Oh,
you mean?
hello?
Uh,
Oh, like
no, I don't quite understand. I think I answered that, didn't I? Didn't I say that they're not equal?
oh, yeah, yeah, you said that, but I was assuming perhaps my explanation affected your answers. But even like I said,
Okay.
sometimes I see those contents on social media, but without those information, you would have said they're not equal.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so Americans always feel like, oh, they're not equal and they are doing a kind of bad job. Do you
Okay.
think they feel that? Mm,
So not all Americans feel that way. I think
mm,
like many things in America, there's kind of a political split
mm,
between I guess you could say the left and right, whatever, Democrats and Republicans about this. Like pretty much all Democrats, I would say that they think police officers are doing a bad job.
mm,
And many Republicans would side with the police officers and say that they're doing their jobs and they have difficult jobs and things like that.
mm,
Um, but I think that in general,
mm,
in America, there's kind of a distrust in the police, a feeling that
mm,
the police don't really have most people's like safety
mm,
at their as their like biggest concern. And I think, especially for minorities, black people or
mm,
Latino people, probably to a lesser extent,
mm,
Asian people and stuff like that, like
mm,
South Asian people, whatever. I think for the most part, the races that are most discriminated against by police would be black and Latino people, but I mean, to some extent, sure. Like, I think there are cops who are racist or prejudiced um, against any different kinds of races, and also, there are black and Latino cops, right? And I think often maybe those cops are more fair, you could say, but I think that there have been cases where, even black police officers are kind of discriminatory against black people. And I think something like, some people might say that like wearing the uniform makes you racist or makes you discriminate. I don't know if I would go that far, but there is that kind of feeling in the US among some people.
Oh. Yeah, I'm kind of relieved to hear that. Because yeah, I know some Americans should feel in that way, but sometimes I was wondering if everyone is accepting this and then everyone is feeling this is okay, then yeah, I uh it's so hard to explain that. Yeah, for me, I can't trust the police officers in the US if I only judge from the contents on social media or the articles. So I feel kind of scared. And then I was wondering if everyone is also accepting this or not. But yeah, as Riley mentioned, in general, people kind of have some distrust, you said, in
Yeah.
them. うんうん。makes sense. なるほど。ありがとうございます。ちょっと一回訳したいなと思うんですけど、そう、なんか、難しいのと、なんか繊細なので、ね、so I hope Riley won't get arrested by this comment ってそう思ってたからまあそんなないと思うんですけど、そう、なんか難しいトピックだなと思って、ちょっと言葉選びが難しいなと思ってたんですけど、なんか、そう、SNS とかでね、すごい僕一回動画そういうの見たら、AI が判断して、同じようなコンテンツ出すじゃないですか。なので、今なんか僕の SNS、警察関連のものばっか今出るようになっちゃってて、一回見ちゃったので。で、何を見たのかっていうと、10代の男の子と女の子が車乗ってて、で、警察が間違えて、盗難車、盗んだ車だと思って、なんか、ドア開けろみたいな感じでバッてやって、実際結果は、違った車だったらしいんですけど、もう男の子ただ開けて、何にもなんか回答もさせられないままバババンって撃たれたりして、で、その男の子が亡くなったっていう。で、いろいろニュースとか YouTube とかで、これはどういうビューというか、どういう見方になってるんだろう、国民的にみたいな形でいろいろ見てたんですよね。で、それとはまた別に昔からよく言われるのがね、アフリカ系だったりすると、アメリカではすごい車を止められやすいって、pull over ですかね。職質されやすいっていう。で、そういう映画もあったりとかで、僕はなんか親がそういう映画見たとかって言ってたかな。なんかで、もう黒人の方々の中でもうそういうルールがあって、もう止められたら言い訳せずとにかく手を挙げてとか、なんかそういうルールがもう行き届ってるくらい、それをちゃんとしないともう撃たれるとかね。っていうのって、まあ結構問題として挙げられるっていうのは大学の時も聞いたりとか、いろんなところで見てたので、そう、これを、まあ、ライリーとかアメリカの人たちの一国民がどうその警察に対して思ってるんだろうっていうのを聞きたくて、まあ、今回このエピソードを作りました。で、それと同時に、まあ日本の警察官にもフォーカスを当てられると思うんですけど、なんかね、国家もそうですし、警察もみんなにやっぱ平等でなるべくあってほしいって思う中で、まあ実際にね、現地に住んでないからわかんないんですけど、なんかアメリカの警察官って悪くないって思っちゃうことがすごい多くて、いろんなところで。偏ってるのと、なんか自分たちの偏見とかで、すごい、なんかね、行動を起こしたりすることが多いんじゃないかっていうふうに感じちゃうことがあって、まあ、ライリーたちがどう思うのかっていうのを、まあ、聞いてました。で、一個はまあ、disrespect、違う、distrust って言ってましたかね。やっぱ
Distrust, yeah.
不信感があるっていうのは、やっぱり国民全体的にはあるっていう。そう考えると、 僕たち日本人は日本の警察に不信感ほどはないと思うんですよね。警察は動いてくれないみたいなことはね、よく聞いたりしますけど、でも結構動いて、ね、大変じゃないですか。結構動いてくれたりする時もあると思うんですけど、そんななんか不信感ってほどはないと思うんですけど、アメリカではやっぱり不信感という言葉は、ピックアップされるんだなっていうのは今聞いてて思いました。まあ、ただもちろん人によってね、そこは解釈違ったりするでしょうけど、あともう一個面白かったというか興味深いなと思うのが、アメリカと日本でやっぱり犯罪のレベルとか危険度合いが違うよねっていう。で、アメリカではその犯人とかね、そういう犯人になり得る人が銃を持ってる可能性があるってなった時に、やっぱりすっごいストレスがかかってる、プレッシャーがかかってる中なので、やっぱり思ってるより早くシュート、quickly でね、撃っちゃう時もあるんじゃないかっていう。まあでも、そういう人たちがパニッシュされるのかっていうのが気になってたんですけど、paid leaves、言ってましたかね。
Yeah. Yeah.
そう。有給休暇ですね。で、6ヶ月とかお休みになったりすることもあって、なかなかそれで in jail、言葉で出てこない刑務所に入ったりすることっていうのは結構、まあ、レアだっていうことでしたね。うん。So, in America, um, is there anything that people are trying to do to change this situation or the law or yeah, what's happening in America? Do you know?
Um, yeah, sorry. There have been some changes. I think one of the big ones is like body cameras.
うん。
So,
ああ。
many police in the US, I don't know if it's all, have to wear like a camera on their chest basically
うん。
that turns on whenever they interact with like people in public, you know. So if they stop a car for speeding or something, their body camera turns on, or any situation like that. And the goal there is that if there is some kind of altercation, you know, if the something goes wrong during the interaction between the police officer and citizen, regular person, then there's a video of it and you can see what happened. So, because in a lot of these previous problems, you know, when police officers shot someone, the police officers might say, oh, well, they had a gun or they tried to get to their gun, so I shot them first, or something like that.
うん。
Um, but if there's no video, you can't tell if they're telling the truth or not.
うん。
So that was one of the big things that changed. Is now a lot of police officers have to have those cameras, body cameras. Other than that, there's been a lot of talk of giving less money to police officers, or like to police departments.
うん。
So like not giving them as much tax money and things like that, or you know, some people say we should give them more money so they can get more training and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of like debate about how to solve the issue, but I don't think there's been really any solution.
うん。うん。Yeah, now it makes sense. That's why I can see lots of content on social media from the perspective, from perspectives of police officers sometimes. So maybe that's a body camera, I guess. うん。
Yeah,
う
probably.
ん。いや、そっか。うん、多分あれはボディカメラの視点だったなと思うんですよ。そう、たまになんで警察のこの視点から映ってるんだろうなって確かに無意識の中でも思ってたことあったなと思うんですけど、そう、一個が、なんか気になったのが、こういうところに変えていこうみたいな動きってなんかあるのかなと思って、で、まあ今言ってたのが、ボディカメラを設置するのが、やっぱ法律的に決まってきてたりで、みんなつけるっていう。で、altercation って言ってましたかね。We have a raspy voice, both of us.
Yeah.
そう、朝なのでね、声がガラガラだった。おじいちゃんですね。We are old guys やな。まあ、おじいちゃんですね。って感じですけど、そう、altercation、口論とかにね、もしなった時に、どっちが先に銃出したとか出してないみたいな時に、 車のなんとかレコーダーと一緒ですね。ドライブレコーダーと同じ感じですね。あんな感じのがもうついてるようになってるっていうことですね。そっか。まあそういうのは改善としてはあるんですね。なので、なんか一個僕は思ってたのは、これを、良しとしてるのか、いや、ダメだよねとしてるのかっていう、このアメリカ全土でっていう、これでなんか、自分の気持ちの持ち方も違うなと思って、警察ってもう悪いよねみたいな、こう、時になんか平等じゃないよねってみんながちゃんと思ってるのであれば安心できるんですけど、あれを受け入れてしまってるのであれば、なんかちょっと怖いなとかって思っちゃったのもあって聞いてたんですけど、まあいろいろそういうね、動きっていうのはあるっていうことですよね。Yeah, another question is, where do you think those unfairness or inequality come from, especially for different races, from white police officers? For example, they really had an experience when those black people were completely dangerous and then they had to shoot, or just they're affected by their stereotypes, or yeah, how do you observe this situation, Riley?
Well, yeah, man. Sorry, my voice is quite bad this morning. I don't know why.
おじいちゃん you're an
Yeah,
older guy.
because I'm old. But look, there's been a long history of racism in the U.S., of prejudice in the U.S. So I think that's the base, right? You know, there's this horrible history of slavery and all kinds of injustice and unfairness, to put it kind of mildly, in the U.S. throughout history. But as far as like these individual cops' lives go, yeah, I think a lot of it is just stereotype and an additional stereotype that like black people or Latino people uh tend to do more crime, I guess, commit more crimes than white people or Asian people or whatever. Um which, I think statistically is true, for one reason or another. I think it's mostly because black people also tend to uh be poorer than white people on average. They tend to not um, have as much money or have as much education or things like that. And again, that's because of these systemic historical um, unfairnesses, injustices, that have caused black people to be in this situation, on average across the U.S. But um, I think it's also possible that police officers have had dangerous situations with a black person in the past. They tried to pull someone over and that person was not cooperative or even was violent or something like that. And maybe that's true, but I still don't think that's an excuse for treating other black people unfairly or differently from how you would treat uh, white people. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really think there's an excuse. I don't know how to do it exactly fairly because you you maybe can't treat everyone the same. You know, if you come up to an old person versus a young person, even in daily life. Now, let's say obviously we're not police officers, but if we talk to an old person and ask them to uh do something for us, like I don't know, they're in the way at a convenience store, to bring up an old episode. You might ask them in a slightly different way than you would ask a younger person. So I think police officers probably do have to interact with different people in slightly different ways, but it should always be professional and, not violent. You shouldn't pull your gun out or whatever. Um, so yeah, I don't know exactly why, but I think it has to do with America's history and probably also the training that police officers get. I think that it's quite different from Japan in this way, that in Japan, police officers have like a kind of central system, right? There's like Japanese police department, or I'm not
うん。
sure the exact term. But in the US, there's tons of different police departments. You know,
あ
each
ー、
area, each county
う
will have
ん。
its own police. Sometimes a city will have its own police. The state will have its own police, and then
う
there's federal or like national police that usually don't get involved in like day-to-day things, but
ん。
yeah, but there's all these different groups, and they all get, I guess, some sort of different kind of training, and they have different kinds of like, I guess, culture. You know, you might say work culture or
う
something like that. Like a
ん。
different office feels different at a different company because of some work culture or whatever. Might be similar in different police departments.
う
So I
ん。
think in the U.S. it's kind of difficult to say there's one problem, but yeah, for that reason, I think it's difficult to say there's one
うん。
solution.
Makes sense. Yeah, I was wondering if they have the standard rules. Um, yeah, like the Japanese one. So I know it's hard to make them, but I hope they have that kind of rule and then they can have the trainings. Yeah, but it's kind of hard to yeah, choose or decide, yeah, from where they can shoot or I know that's kind of hard. But そうですね。ちょっとまあ、訳しましょうか。ね、どこからこういうのって来てるのかなっていう、やっぱりヒストリーのところと、あとは国の中でも、やっぱ地域とか、ね、そういうところでこういろいろ対応も変わってくるっていう。で、日本みたいなそういう一個の警察のこういうルールみたいなのが、やっぱりない、あるいは作りにくいのかもですけど、そういうところから来てるかもしれないっていうね、のを今聞いて、まあ、難しい問題だなとはすごい思いましたよね。でもなんか、ね、あとは、やっぱり人種によって危険な思いをしたことがあるっていう、それもある意味、ね、データとしてはあるがゆえにステレオタイプを持ってしまうこともあるかもしれないっていうね。いや、なんか本当に難しい問題だなーって今聞きながら思ってました。と同時に、sometimes I feel like the Japanese police officers are too kind. And for example, now, um, not polite tourists are, breaking things or climbing, um, climbing where they shouldn't. But yeah, this is also what I saw on social media. But the Japanese police officers can't do anything. They just talk or they just say hi, but sometimes I feel
Mm.
like if this happened in the US, they would be more scary in that way. Then they can be more reliable in that way, perhaps. So, how about
Mm.
you? In Japan, do you think they're too kind, or do you have any experience with the Japanese police officers?
I don't have much experience with Japanese police officers other than like on my bike a few times if I like forgot to charge my bike light.
Uh-huh.
Hey, please turn your light on or whatever, you know,
Mm-mm.
like I've never really had a problem.
Mm.
But generally whenever I do talk to them for whatever reason, they are I don't know, kind is maybe going too far, but
Mm.
they're polite and professional,
Mm.
and not scary.
Mm.
Um, but I think that's good. I
Mm.
think that like I don't know. I I don't know the examples you're talking about. I don't really see those videos on YouTube too much about
Mm.
foreigners doing whatever.
Mm.
But I feel like it's probably better to be polite than to be scary. Especially if what the foreigners are doing is just, what can I say? Like annoying. It's
Mm.
just a nuisance. It's not like violent or
Mm.
dangerous to other
Mm.
people. So yeah, I I think that that's probably good. I think in
Mm.
America, you're right. They might be more aggressive about
Mm.
telling them to if they're climbing something, telling them
Mm.
to get down or whatever. They might, I don't know. I could imagine a police officer even pulling a gun on someone if they said
Mm.
like if the person didn't listen to them.
Mm. So even for you, they're so scary.
American police
Mm.
officers.
Yeah.
Um like y- I haven't had that many interactions
う
with them,
ん。
but if I was driving or if somebody in the car was driving and got pulled over for like driving too fast for
うん。
speeding or something, then it's usually scary in the sense like, oh no, we might get a ticket here, we might have
う
to pay
ん。
money. But I'm usually not actually scared of the police officer like shooting
うん。
me
うん。
or something.
うん。う
Um,
ん。
but that's privilege, I think, because I'm white and I haven't had that many bad interactions with police. I think black people in the US, even if they don't do anything wrong, I think they often have more interactions with
う
police
ん。
just because police, I don't know, think they might be doing something wrong, or there might be more more police in neighborhoods where there are black people, where
う
there are more
ん。
black people. I mean, um, so yeah, I think that by being white, I'm pretty lucky in my interactions with the police. But I
なる
think
ほど。
for black people, yeah, police in general might be kind of scary.
う
Just,
ん。
you know, talking to them at all, even if you didn't do anything, could
な
be
るほ
kind of
ど
scary.
ね。
Yeah.
なるほどね。Yeah, can you type those words? I forgot to ask you to type threaten, warily, speeding, cooperative. はい、これちょっと打っ
What
といて。
was the
う
what was
ん。
the second one?
Warily. I
Oh,
rarely,
rarely. Okay,
I
rarely.
forgot the yeah, context, but yeah. はい、そうですね。ちょっと最後、パパッとまとめれたらなと思うんですけど、日本のね、警察官の方って優しい分、ちょっと舐められちゃうところもあるなと思って、これもね、ネットで見たりすると、こう、外国の方が、こう、ね、ルール守れてない時に、やっぱ注意できないっていう、もうちょっとガンって言ったらええのにっていうところもできないみたいな。そう、それがやっぱ舐められちゃうんだろうなって思いつつ、まあでもライリーからすると、やっぱね、怖いっていうよりはいいんじゃないっていう。で、プラスね、外国人のその行動っていうのは、犯罪っていうほどでもなかったりする場合もあると思うのでっていう、それに対してやっぱアメリカは怖かったりと、って言ってたので、ライリーに怖い思いしたことあるのって言ったら、いや、自分はそんなないのと、あとはやっぱ白人だから、そんなにやっぱ撃たれるみたいな心配はないしっていうのがやっぱ、ぶっさって言葉で出てくるってことは、それだけやっぱ人種ごとによって扱いが違うっていう認識はあるんだなっていうのが、やっぱり分かって、ある意味やっぱ怖いなとも思いますよね。まあそういう意味では、ライリーが言ってたような優しい警察官っていうのもいいのかもしれませんが、まあ、とにかくどの国でも警官にはお世話になりたくないものですね。では今日のエピソードはい
かがでしたでしょうか？
かがでしたでしょうか。そう、ちょっとずっとこう話したいなと思ってて、でもなんか繊細だからなかなか扱いにくいなと思ってたトピックを扱えてよかったです。そう、まあ皆さんもね、こう、そういう経験があるかとか、どういう思いでこう、日本、アメリカの警察官を見られているか、視点的にっていうところを、まあ、このエピソードを機会に考えていただけていたら嬉しいなと思います。僕は英語のソータで調べていただくと、インスタとか YouTube とか Twitter とかいろいろ出てきます。レッツとか、ライリーやライリーサラマ XD で調べてくださいね。では、すいません、皆さん、なんか、どこまで撮れてたか分からへんけど、ライリー曰くもうではで多分終わってたでって、教えてもらって、もうこのままね、その後、ではまた次回のエピソードにしましょう。バイぐらいまで言えたかなと思ったけど、言えてなかったみたいなので、このバイを吹き込むだけに、もう40分の、ズームを立ち上げました。なので、バイだけ行きたいなと思います。では、また次回のエピソードでお会いしましょう。バイ。
Bye.
OK、終わり。ありがとう。バイ。
See ya.
See ya.